Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good evening, family, and welcome to another wonderful, infotaining, edutaining edition of The Art of His Think, or The Art of His Thinks, Thought Provocateur. I'm your host for the empowerment segment, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2, The Artivist. And like I said before, welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, scholars and laymen, boys and girls, the wokish or woke and the sleep or sleepish. I just want to talk about today or tonight or this segment rather, the untimely passing of one Kobe Bean Bryant and his beautiful daughter, Gianna, known as Gigi, along with 7 other people in a helicopter crash this past Sunday, January 26th. It was like 10:01 or 10:01 a.m. Pacific time, but it was about, man, 12:01 Central Time, my time. I'm in Memphis. That the plane reportedly went down, or that the people were announced or pronounced dead at the scene. My understanding was a fiery helicopter crash in Calabasas, which is like, basically L.A., the greater Los Angeles area. The helicopter crash, I believe, around approximately 10:01 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 12:01 p.m. Central Time, my time zone, and of course 1:01 p.m. Eastern or East Coast time. Nobody survived. All 9 people aboard perished. Fiery blaze. The helicopter caught on fire once it crashed, or some witnesses said it was already on fire in the air. I don't know. And that's why I want to talk about how the narratives change so quickly. I was actually texted by a friend. I spoke to her for a couple hours on the phone. She lives in North Carolina. Then as soon as we got off the phone, we was on the phone for almost 2.5 hours. Very interesting conversation. She texted me that Kobe Bryant died. I said, wait a minute, Kobe? I basically text back, DTF, you know what that means. So I searched online immediately on my smartphone. I saw that TMZ reported that Kobe Bryant perishes in a helicopter crash, excuse me. And I couldn't find really any more news sources to verify what TMZ reported. Now, y'all gotta remember that TMZ was the one that also broke the untimely and unfortunate death of Michael Jackson, the GOAT entertainer. And now, almost 10 years, almost 11 years later, 10 years and some months, they are the first to report that the GOAT basketball player, one of the GOATs, I mean, he's up there basically top 5, top 3, top 2, or even just one, GOAT basketball player of all time, Kobe Bean Bryant, was dead. Kobe spoke that Michael Jackson's homegoing at Staples Center, this also the venue where Nipsey Hussle's home going celebration took place. I said Michael Jackson's homegoing celebration, but also Nipsey Hussle's homegoing celebration took place back in April of last year. And I most definitely know that Kobe Bryant will be getting a grand send off indie fashion of a Nipsey Hussle and Michael Jackson at the Staples Center, which Alicia Keys said at the Grammy Awards, which was hosted at the Staples Center, that was the house that Kobe built. Two of his numbers were retired, number 8 and number 24, that he wore on his jersey as a 20-year LA Laker. It's amazing to be able to play 20 years in the league. I know he had some injuries towards the end. His last game was spectacular. Went out in a blaze of glory with, I believe, 60 points in his last game, his last NBA game. And so I'm most doubt it's going to be like something epic at the Staples for Kobe in the very near future. And I'm a conspiracy theorist type of cat. I'm always thinking, like Dick Gregory said, once you have those magic glasses on, you can't take them off. I'm just questioning the timing of the deaths of Kobe and his beloved Gigi and the 7 other people aboard the helicopter. Now, Kobe has been known for flying helicopters for years, back and forth from his home to the Staples Center to other places in LA to avoid that notorious LA traffic jams, right? So he found that very convenient. He was a man that did not waste time. He was definitely had a strong discipline and work ethic, whether it be on the basketball court or in business or any areas of human activity in the game of life. Kobe said basically, if you don't have to get ready if you stayed ready. So he was a guy that, value his time, his uses of time. He was very efficient with the way he used time to create not only his amazing basketball career and legacy, but also his beautiful family, his award-winning media works. Like he won an Oscar for one of his basketball animated films recently, and also he was in the process, or he has become, did become a prolific book author, writing books about how trying to inspire athletes of the next generation to be the best versions of themselves. Was definitely a strong advocate for women or young girls to participate in sports to build character and to build confidence and all that good stuff. So the guy was working on a second act in his life. He was just young, 41 years young. His daughter was just 13. She was following in her father's footsteps of being a exceptional basketball player. He had one of the best players who ever touched a basketball to ever grace the court as your not only your father but also as your Gianna, your mentor. Y'all call him mentor, I call him Jegnas, to help guide her to the next. She could have been like the Tiger Woods of female basketball players in terms of her athletic prowess and gifts on the court. You've seen clips online of her basically being the mini me of her father on the basketball court, and also just in life. She looked just like her father to me. She had his charm, his killer instincts on the court. She was developing then his confidence, and he's just his swag. So I just think that's very sad. He had 3 other daughters, and then he had a wife. So he had a young, beautiful family, and now they're never going to see their father again in the flesh, and neither their sister. So I mean, I can't imagine. My heart goes out to the family and sister Vanessa Bryant, his wife, and the kids. Um, I still didn't want to believe that he was dead, and saw then all the other stuff start coming in through the media outlets, confirming that Kobe Bryant and his wife, not his wife, excuse me, his daughter did perish, but they really didn't name the names of the other passengers on board, I guess because they want to notify the families. But I guess because Kobe was such a public figure, they went ahead and told his name and his daughter's name. But what I found interesting is the timing of it all. People say, well, this is not the time, Brother Ron, to speak on these things. I said, it's never a good time or a bad time to speak on these things. It's just, it is what it is. And also, I never thought it was a bad time or in bad taste to be a critical thinker at all. Because people say, well, there was an accident. How you know it was an accident? How do you know? I mean, the man been flying on helicopters for decades, literally for decades now, and this never happened. As far as we know, he never had any mechanical failure with a helicopter that he was occupied in or whatever. So why now? And you look at the timing, I think it's fascinating. This happened right before Super Bowl week. We got the Super Bowl coming up. This upcoming Sunday, February 2nd, and it's Super Bowl week is a big time for football, which is really the national pastime of America, football. So we know he's not going to have a funeral during this week because all the people, celebrities and everything, sports stars, all that, not just in football, but all walks of life, going to be in Miami. So the funeral is not going. But then also, this happened the day he died was also the night of the Grammys, which took place this past Sunday evening at the Staples Center where Kobe made his history, or basically like Alicia Keys said, it's a house that Kobe built. It took place in his house. Now they had his jerseys on display. I guess they had it throughout the night to pay honor to him with the floodlights on the jerseys, hanging in the Raptors, his number 8 and his 24. But my thing is, the Grammys normally happen the week after the Super Bowl. The Grammys, excuse me, normally takes place the next Sunday after the Super Bowl. Why is it in January? And I know somebody will tell me, well, they were saying that the Super Bowl and the Grammys switched place. No, they didn't. They don't really. The Grammys never happened during the Super Bowl. Now I know the Super Bowl used to be in January before September 11th. I guess they changed it after September 11th to February, the first weekend in February. But last year's Grammys was, I believe Sunday, February the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. February 2019 was when the last Grammys before this year Grammy took place, January 26, 2019. I mean 2020, excuse me. I just think that's really interesting that all of a sudden they changed the Grammys from being after the Super Bowl to being before the Super Bowl. But I digress. But also, you remember not too long ago, back in February 2012, right before Valentine's Day, that Whitney Houston died in the Beverly Hills Hilton the day before the Grammys. This is back in 2012. I'll never forget where I was at and what I was doing when I heard the news. Same thing where I'll never forget where I was at and what I was doing and thinking when I heard about Kobe Bryant's untimely passing, the news of that. But I just think it's interesting because also at the Beverly Hills Hilton, you had the Grammys, the pre-party for the Grammys, the pre-Grammys party that Clive Davis, Whitney Houston's teacher, mentor, what we gonna call him, had. He had this annual pre-Grammy party, and although his protege was lying butt naked, cold on the floor, I guess upstairs, he still had his pre-Grammys party at the Beverly Hills Hilton, while his protege, his star that he created, was literally cold and dead on the hotel room floor, from my understanding. And that happened back in February 2012 during the Grammys weekend. So now you fast forward to 2020, and in the house that Kobe built, they're having the Grammys on the same day that he perished, along with his daughter and 7 other people in a helicopter crash. And also, you go to the night before, where LeBron James passes him for third place all time on the NBA all time scoring list. LeBron James is a Laker now. So he passed Kobe Bryant, a retired Laker, on that list in Kobe Bryant's hometown of Philadelphia. Kobe's from Philadelphia. LeBron did it against the Philadelphia 76ers. Kobe's father played for Philadelphia, Joe Bryant, known as Jelly Bean. He was a hometown hero. He played for Philadelphia 76ers. And Kobe also beat the Philadelphia 76ers back in 2001 as a Laker, along with Shaquille O'Neal. They beat Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers back in the June of 2001 for their second championship. And also, Kobe won his All-Star MVP award in Philadelphia back in 2001. And LeBron spoke about how he met Kobe as a high school student, I guess, in Philadelphia when he broke the record. After he broke the record after the game, he talked about his first remembrance of meeting Kobe, I guess, in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, during that All Star game sometime. Ain't that strange? And then the person who's number one on the NBA all-time scorer list is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he is, guess what, a former Laker as well. But I also say once a Laker, always a Laker. The Lakers is my favorite basketball team. Like the Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees, right? Those are my three favorite sports teams. And what I love about them is not necessarily that they win a lot. That's part of it, but it's that amazing history, their legacy. It's not just about your teams go to hard times and difficult years and seasons, but you can always fall back on that powerful narrative of their winning ways, of the legendary players and coaches and whatnot. It's like one of those things. The Lakers always been a blue chip franchise along with the Yankees and Dallas Cowboys, regardless of their last season or current season or whatever. They just you have a winning legacy. So I always was a Lakers fan to the Showtime Lakers of Magic Johnson and Pat Riley, and even to the ones of Phil Jackson and Kobe and Shaq, and then the Kobe, the one man army with some good Marines. They going to war. Kobe is a soldier. He was a general, man, and he gets a bad rap in the media for being a so-called horrible teammate. But that's a narrative they put on you a lot of times. If you just mess up one time, they make that the narrative for the rest of your career. They'll bring up stuff from the past that you overcame. Uh, you know, just interesting things that the media does. They love to build you up to tear you down. And Kobe was not immune to that at all. But at the same time, this thing is interesting that Kobe would die the day after LeBron surpasses him on the all-time scorers list in his hometown of Philadelphia. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if in the NBA Finals this year, 2020, that is the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Philadelphia 76ers, which I call the Kobe Bryant Bowl. I'm like Negro Dominus because Philly is doing pretty well like they did last year. They almost came close to being in the finals last year. And also, you got the Los Angeles Lakers doing their thing, but also could be somebody who's very close to Kobe besides LeBron and Lakers and even the Philadelphia 76ers. It could be people he met. Kobe helped a lot of basketball players. He helped a lot of people. He was a master teacher of the game. Could he have been a great coach? Who knows? I mean, he was a great motivator. He inspired a lot of players to be better versions of themselves. He worked out with a lot of players in the summer. So it could be a person like about the Greek freak. It was a Giannis, Milwaukee. I think he was close to Kobe. You got Kyrie, of course, but Brooklyn ain't going nowhere to next year. To be honest with you, Kyrie had a close relationship with Kobe Bryant. I think he, didn't play on Sunday because of the situation that happened to Kobe. And you got Kawhi Leonard. His name Kawhi or Kyrie, not Kyrie Irving, but Kawhi. That's how you say his name. Kawhi, excuse me, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, the dynasty killer, Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers. I think he had a relationship with Kobe. They were close. He almost became a Laker, from my understanding. Kawhi, Kawhi, excuse me, I said Kawhi. Kawhi Leonard, excuse me, for the Los Angeles Clippers. But you saw, if you're a fan, you saw Doc Rivers' response to what happened to Kobe. But so was Kobe and his daughter blood sacrifice? If you think about all the stuff I just said, because normally the Grammys will be in February, the second weekend in February has been like that for the last couple of times. Super Bowl first weekend in February now. Recently, this is Super Bowl week. Big. They had Pro Bowl on Sunday as well. Um, Something to think about this. And people say, "Well, no, I don't believe in conspiracy." But think about black folks who died in plane crashes. Some of my black icons, people like. I just went to the Barcades. Larry Dawson, the lead singer of the Barcades for almost 50 years. Larry Dawson had his birthday celebration at the Hard Rock Cafe on Beale Street in Memphis on Saturday. He was actually born the same day as Sam Cooke, January 22nd. He had his 68th birthday party or life affirmation day party on Saturday, the 25th. which is I guess the Chinese New Year, the 25th, which is interesting. I know I was talking to somebody, one of the Barcade musicians. The Barcades actually were uh, the background group for the great Otis Redding at Stax. They were Otis Redding's background or backup group or singers and musicians, whatever, that went on tour in the road with him. Only two original Barcades survived the horrific plane crash that took Otis Redding December 10th, 1967. Only two of the original Barcades survived. They were basically young men, basically kids, teenagers, like in their late teens, if not early 20s, late teens for the most part. The plane crashed to Lake Monona on their way to a gig back December 10th, 1967. There are famous pictures of Otis Redding frozen to his chair. They pulled his body out of the wreckage of Lake Monona. He was all, I guess, rigor mortis, or he just frozen stiff because the waters were so icy and chill. So there's pictures of him in Jet magazine that show him basically like he's sleeping in his chair, which is kind of weird, man, surreal. But Ben Colley was actually on the plane, the trumpet player for the Barcades. He actually was on that plane. He survived by holding on to a seat cushion. Excuse me. He held on to a seat cushion. He couldn't even swim, but he survived that plane crash. Ended up dying years later in 2015. I went to his funeral back in September of 2015 at Brown Missionary Baptist Church. And so you also have James Alexander, who was not on the plane. I think he was on another plane, and I think he was driving a rental car back to Cleveland. It was something, but those were the only two original members of the Barcades who survived that Otis Redding tragedy. So Larry Dawson joined the Barcades as a lead singer, and he was a lead singer for almost 50 years for the Barcades. So he retired from the Barcades and doing his own thing, started his whiskey, writing books. But I was just telling somebody it's good to celebrate a person and give them their flowers while they still around. And I went to his party because I'm really big into Memphis music history to pay my respects to Mr. Larry Dawson. But little did I know, some hours later, that I'll be mourning along with so many other people the death of Kobe Bryant. Unfortunate, who died in a helicopter crash. Like Otis Redding died in a plane crash. They never found out what really happened to that plane. It was a twin engine plane. I think Otis owned. Otis was a very smart and shrewd businessman, kind of like Sam Cooke in a way. Maybe he was too smart for his own good, and they want to get him out the way. He was just 26 when he died. So the Black Mama was a very shrewd and brilliant businessman himself, worth 500 million. Um, I hope he left a will. Kobe's like the type of dude that was really about taking care of business. So I'm sure he got a airtight will, and there'll be no type of problems in court with the will or whatever. But who knows? And if there's no will, then you gotta really start asking questions like, what? I mean, Kobe was that guy who took preparation in basketball games. It's like he was very, about the preparation in the game of life. He compete to win. He was a very competitive guy, took care of his business. So I hope there's a will. I hope there was no foul play, but I don't know. They'll tell us like, Aaliyah. Yeah, I remember Aaliyah. She died in a fiery plane crash after filming the video Rock the Boat. They said maybe the helicopter plane pilot was under the influence of drugs or alcohol, allegedly. Maybe there was too much luggage on the plane that caused the plane. It wasn't the luggage was too much, or they didn't balance out the people in the luggage correctly. I could see them, the National Transportation Safety Board, saying something where maybe it was too many people on board in the plane. Maybe they weren't balanced, enough where the weight was evenly distributed on the plane. And I don't think we never ever know the truth. I mean, it could have been foul play. Maybe it's mechanical failure. Maybe it's a pilot's error. Like they said, it was foggy while they was in the air, and maybe the airline helicopter pilot couldn't see the hillside that he or she crashed into eventually. It's interesting. I remember reading about Frank Sinatra's mother. Frank Sinatra had a birthday bash planned for his mom, and she never showed up. Come to find out that her plane crashed into a mountainside, which will be the same mountainside that Dean Martin's son crashed into some years later. So I don't know what to make of this. And talking about blood sacrifices and stuff like that. I was saying, I mean, maybe I got a dark sense of humor or whatever that maybe not necessarily be funny, but I think about maybe Kobe Bryant was a blood sacrifice, a big game blood sacrifice for the Lakers to win the championship this year. And some random cats get mad, and now understanding you can numerology and gematria. It talks about the number 42 as being a black number. Black Mamba wore the 24, but the reverse of 24 is 42. And you think about, he wore the jerseys 24 and 8, 24 plus 8. Is that not a Masonic number, 32? 32 is not a Masonic number. I ain't getting deep into all that, but I just want people to think and stop accepting these official stories because a lot of times they're the official lies. Because they went from having 4 people dead on a plane to 5 people dead on a plane to 9 people dead on a plane. They said his wife was on the plane. They said Rick Fox was on the plane. They said his other daughter was on the plane. There's a lot of confusion. And what I tell people all the time too, that the media is not to be trusted. What you call traditional legacy corporate media is really a product of government intelligence agencies. Research and look up Operation Mockingbird. They will tell you how the CIA infiltrated the news business and how the Department of Defense, CIA, all they infiltrated news and entertainment industry complexes, and they control the narratives. So you look at the movie like Wag the Dog that talks about making up a fake war to keep the country's mind off a presidential sex scandal. This movie came out over 20 years ago with Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. I always recommend that movie. But also, you got to think how predictive programming, where you had a cartoon show that came out on Comedy Central. Try to find this clip before they take it out. They're really scrubbing this internet. Censorship is real, y'all. But there's a clip from the Legends of Chamberlain Heights. This is a Comedy Central cartoon that only lasted for 2 seasons. It premiered in 2016, but its last show ran August 20th, 2017 for 2 seasons. I think about 20 episodes. But I think in the first season, it's an episode called the End of Days. This episode was aired November 11th, 2016. I believe it was November 11th, 2016. This episode was aired and it showed a scene where Kobe Bryant crashed in a helicopter and he was asking for help from the kids, the 3 leads on the show. And he had his 2, I guess, recent Laker trophies, championship or MVP trophies in his hand. And they asked him, okay, we can help you, Kobe, but just pass us the trophies or something. He said, I don't pass. It's a joke about Kobe being a notorious, a legendary ball hawk where he basically like shoot first and ask questions later. Whereas LeBron is like a lot of times instead of like taking charge and shooting, he'll just pass the ball to a teammate. But Kobe was all about he lived for clutch moments. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't afraid to take the big shots at the biggest moments. He was cold. He was cutthroat. That's why they call him the Black Mamba. He was about his business. He could strike. He was a killer on that court. So by him refusing to pass them the trophies, he didn't get out the helicopter when it crashed, and so it blew up, and his 5 rings rolled over to the guys. And I believe that the Comedy Central took that clip off of their website, their official website, because they thought it was very insensitive. But this came out in 2016. This was premiered to the world November 11th, 2016. So this is why I call predictive programming, where you hear like people talking about the Simpsons predicted that Trump would be president. You know how Back to the Future, one of the Back to the Future movies, predicted the Cubs would win the World Series in the future. You got all this stuff. You got even a show called Trackdown that came out in the 50s. They had an episode called The End of the World. It was in the season 1, episode 30. They had a character that went to this Wild West town named Walter Trump, who looks like Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father, who told the town folks that they need to give him a lot of money to build a wall around the town to protect them from a cosmic invasion. Think about this Star Wars thing, this space defense program that Donald Trump is getting out there that he's creating, reminiscent of what Ronald Reagan tried to do with the Star Wars program. But you have a TV show for the 1950s, predictive programming that talks about a Trump trying to build a wall around a town in the show. But Trump talked about how to build a wall at the southern border of America with Mexico to keep the outsiders from invading. Just like Trump in that TV show told him he want to build a wall around the town to keep the space invaders from invading the town. So that also you go to a show called The Lone Gunmen that premiered back in 2001. The Lone Gunmen, which was a spinoff of the very popular, still popular cult popularity off the charts X Files series. It was a spinoff from that. But in the first episode of Lone Gunmen, which premiered March the 4th, 2001, you had a scenario where you had planes that were hijacked that were going to be targeted to hit the World Trade Center to start a war. This came out March 4th, 2001. The last episode of The Lone Gunmen premiered back in June of 2001. September 11th happened September 11th, 2001. You see how it works with predictive programming. So we already had the people informed years in advance that Kobe would die in a a fiery helicopter crash, like in the cartoon show, The Legends of Chamberlain Heights, and it shows the plane exploding like it exploded on Sunday, leaving no survivors. So I don't think you get me. Even a Leo plane, it exploded with no survivors. People burned beyond recognition. So you can only imagine with Kobe and his dad. I just hope that it wasn't long suffering, that it was quick for them. And people were saying they could see Kobe, you know, accepting his fate, but also comforting his daughter, embracing his daughter in that moment. And you look at those pictures and photos on social media of him and his daughter, man, you could tell they had a special bond. And it's unfortunate that he had to pass in that fashion. And he's one of my favorite, athletes of all time. And I thought that he handled himself well with the Colorado situation back in 2003, and he survived that. He was facing jail time. He was facing all man. People were dropping endorsements from Kobe left and right, and basically like how he played in the court, he was like playing for his life every night. Dave Chappelle made jokes about you better score so many amount of points or you be guilty of hell. If you score like less than 5 points, you must be guilty of all hell. You must have did it. But eventually he settled out of court in a civil lawsuit with the young lady who had, all types of DNA floating in her underwear and other parts. I just said like she was suspect. Nobody really. I didn't never believe Kobe did that. But he settled. He wrote a letter to apologize, just part of the settlement. And my thinking is, if she really like the Cosby thing, if you really want justice, you wouldn't just settle for money. You would take him to try to get some criminal charges to stick on him and put him in jail. But that didn't happen. So you let you know it was a game. And Dick talked about the games. Like maybe he was, allegedly, maybe he was set up so to make sure that he stayed with the Lakers. Like, he was looking at free agency. I think him and Shaq was coming at up. They couldn't just take each other no more. They couldn't stand each other at that point. It was either him or Shaq. Basically told the Lakers, no, it's either Shaq or me. Which one? Take your pick. And I think in a way it's kind of like a Godfather gangster move. That maybe he was set up so to ensure that he stayed with the Lakers. They made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I don't know. Dick had magic glasses like I do. And I just want y'all to think about these things because everything is not as clear cut as we think it is. And people forget. I mean, isn't it interesting that both Dave Stern, the former longtime NBA commissioner, and Kobe Bryant, all-time basketball great, both died in the month of January. One at the beginning of January, and one close towards the end of January. So were they blood sacrifices for this NBA season? This is something to think about. And I'm not making light of what happened to Kobe or Gigi or all the other victims on that plane, but recognize that we are living in a blood sacrifice system. So we really are all blood sacrifices, but not all blood sacrifices are equal to the other. You have people that die in wars, that's a blood sacrifice. You have people die all types of ways to make people wealthy. Like in a system like this, they are selling us spinach that's non-organic spinach. You think that when you go to the grocery store, that all the food is safe for consumption, which is not true. They got all type of chemicals. You got non-organic spinach sitting in plastic bags that got 50 pesticides on them. Even if you wash the spinach, you are consuming not only the spinach but also the 50 pesticides that have come along for the ride, like a barnacle to a well on the spinach, and it's gonna be in your stomach, gonna circulate in your system. You got lead in the water, you got chemtrails, all this stuff. They're killing you either fast or slow, but they're killing us one way or the other to make a profit. So make no mistake about it, this system is rough, and we celebrity worship. That's the religion of America, celebrity worship and violence. Like Dr. King said, America is the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet, his own government. So recognize and understand that we are in the belly of the beast. And Kobe ain't no exception. His brand took a hit, but he survived that to win an Oscar, to have an award-winning, amazing sports legacy, and working on his second act in terms of his philanthropy and humanitarianism as being a great world ambassador of the game of basketball. From my understanding, Kobe is more popular in Asia than Michael Jordan or LeBron James. And that's what Jerry West said. He was more popular than a lot of them cats over there. So he was a global ambassador to the game. He's only second in popularity to Yao Ming in China. That's how big basketball is. And Kobe was named for the town in Japan. His family named him for the. So I mean, he was just a brilliant, charming, handsome, well-rounded, speak multiple languages, culture type of guy who didn't even go to college. But he was just different, man. Kobe was a lone wolf. I mean, I think he was a team player because if he was not a team player, he would not won championships. So that's the greatest misconception of the perception of Kobe in the media. 'Cause I think the narrative changed on Kobe after the allegations of rape or whatever, or sexual misconduct in Colorado. And once it changed, it just changes. Or like, it's just sad to see. But Kobe persevered and he left a legacy in spite of all the naysayers and the doubters and the haters. He left a very impactful legacy. And what I learned from the life of Kobe Bryant is um you got to be true to you. You got to live your dreams, but you want to make your dreams real. You got to have a work ethic. You got to discipline yourself. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to see the stuff through. You got to have a vision for yourself, and just take discipline. I mean, man, Philly man been hit hard like L.A. I believe because Philadelphia lost another giant a week ago. I believe on a Sunday. Jazz legend Jimmy Heath. Jimmy Heath was a fascinating cat. He was from Philly. Came from probably one of the most important music families in jazz history, the Heath brothers, but they used to call Jimmy Heath Little Bird. He passed away at 93 years of age, almost a century of living. He had to persevere through through a lot of stuff in order to make this phenomenal music, but maintain such a sincere spirit. He was a great ambassador for jazz music and a great supporter of young talent, what I'm saying, as a master teacher of the jazz idiom, kind of like how Kobe was a master teacher of basketball. I'm sure Dr. James Naismith could never imagine basketball becoming what it is. I don't think when Dr. James Naismith invented basketball, he thought of players like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Dr. J or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and on and on and on and on. Just like the same way when Adolph Sachs invented the saxophone. He couldn't see no Charlie Parker or John Coltrane or Coleman Hawkins or Sonny Rollins or Jimmy Heaths. You understand? The black imagination is bigger than the system of oppression. A lot of us as black people look for white folks to define us, to give us roles, to give us jobs, give us purpose and meaning. You must reclaim that narrative as the universal people, as the original people, and understand to own yourself, to love yourself, to be yourself, to manifest the best versions of yourself. Dare I say, by any means. Kobe Bryant did that. He didn't allow this devil system to imprison him when he was facing jail time. He sought liberation by disciplining himself through the game of basketball. It laid the foundation for a very productive, fruitful, and purposeful life. He lived his God work, and his God work breath life into him. Kobe Bean Bryant. So I think it's just a travesty, tragedy, and also with the news anchor stopping now. the Allison Morrison sister or cat lady or whatever she is. What she said about Kobe, this Allison character. We all know. I listened to it many times over that she said the Los Angeles girls. Once again, she said the Los Angeles girls. You can't make no mistake like that. She said it. She need to own it. You know, this Allison lady at MSNBC. She said it, and she knew she said it because she tried to hurry on and correct herself and hurry on to the next correspondent to get off the air. So she has practiced saying it because she said the correct way it's normally said when he want to disrespect you. So they just spitting in the face of Kobe and Gigi and the rest of the victims of this horrific helicopter crash. She needs to be fired. You know, I'm all for free speech, but if you're working in a corporate environment like that, they got rules, you know, and if you want to be censoring everybody else, you live by the censorship and you die by the censorship. Time to take your own medicine. Allison needs to be fired. Okay? She needs to be fired. And also, it's like when these news personalities, commentators, whatever, when they say Martin Luther King, we know what you're thinking. White folks, stop it, stop with the line. Be honest with yourself. Y'all feeling yourselves right now. You say Martin Luther King, then you say Los Angeles Knickers. So come on, let's be real. Racism and black folks got to stop this. You know, I want to be loved and liked. Nah, forget all that. I want the respect. Like Kobe. Kobe wanted the respect. You know, your haters are your biggest fans. Kobe understood that. He succeeded when people said he couldn't do it. You gonna be like Mike? No, I want to be better than Mike. Ha ha ha. Now Kobe is in that conversation. Who is the all-time great? Kobe has the right to be in that conversation now. But it's sad that we won't see any more Kobe. We don't see him grow old. He's forever young, like his beautiful daughter, and that's really sad. But I hope y'all thought about the things I said in terms of was this a blood sacrifice? What are your thoughts? I believe we all are blood sacrifices because we all die for things we don't have an understanding of. And a lot of times we blame ourselves for the things that happen to us when it really is a lot of things are out of our control that we're not knowledgeable about the things that's really going on, how the game is played. It's like remember when Steph Curry's wife some couple years ago, you know, he was a unanimous MVP, the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, Steph Curry. And they lost, or they were losing in the process of losing to Cleveland Warriors back in 2016. And his wife, who's very opinionated, she loves to express herself. She basically said that the game was rigged. She basically said herself that the game was rigged. And she received a lot of backlash for that. And maybe she shouldn't have said that. She kept her mouth shut because her husband was a unanimous MVP, middle of a finals run, an historic finals collapse. And she said the things she said. And you know, to be honest, of course the game is rigged. Now, when I say the game is rigged, I'm not necessarily saying that it's the players that are at fault for this, but it's the way the games are officiated and how they are run, and who makes the call, who don't make calls. That influences the game. You see how it works? You know what I'm saying? So you look at Michael Jordan's situation with his father, you know, that same summer or it wasn't summer, it was I guess late spring when it was the finals, when that book came out by one of his close white friends about his being a degenerate gambler, you know, and they won against Phoenix that year. And then, you know, Michael Jordan dad gets killed in North Carolina, where they from. They cremated the body. I know he had very expensive dental work, and also I believe they found his body. Uh, they found his car. It was a brand new car brought by his son. All this stuff didn't make sense. But what I did hear made sense was that the sheriff of the county was allegedly part of some drug kingpin. Like one of his relatives was running drugs in the county, and he offered protection of his family while they was running drugs. And I believe that maybe Michael Jordan's father saw some things he shouldn't have saw, and they got rid of him. He went to a place he shouldn't have went to, and they got rid of him. But he should have never got cremated because I think that what they were doing, they were hiding evidence of whatever they did to him. and they're blaming all those young guys. I had a chance to talk to the black guy back in 2016. He reached out to me because he saw an interview I did with Dick Gregory where he talked about what happened to Michael Jordan's father, how you try to reach out to the young men accused because he thought there was something wrong with their case. Even the media at the time, the mainstream media, thought that the narrative was off concerning the situation with Michael Jordan's father. You can go back online and research some of the articles from GQ and other media outlets that were skeptical. They were skeptical of what went down with Michael Jordan's father, but you didn't have no social media back in that time. That's the mid-90s. You didn't have this social media phenomenon where you get information out there because you still had a lot of gatekeepers suppressing certain things and not allowing things to get out. But that Michael Jordan thing, maybe his gambling habits got him killed. Michael Jordan retired from the NBA. I think they wanted him to take a time off from the NBA. He was getting too big for his britches, and then he kept himself in shape by playing baseball. That's how that works. Like Dick said, he kept himself in shape by playing baseball so he could come back. But he just wanted to walk away for a minute, because they gave him a warning and they killed his father. And come back and does another run. And then he retired and come back again, and that's it. But Michael Jordan is still alive. Kobe Bryant is dead. So with Kobe Bryant, people are dismissive about, well, I think it was just an accident. How do you know what it was? We only know what we know about Kobe Bryant is what we are allowed to know about Kobe Bryant. This man was a complex human being. He's like everybody. He had his light and his dark side. And it's okay. That's part of being human. It's like when Jimi Hendrix died. Jimi Hendrix was murdered. People think he died of a drug overdose. They suffocated Jimi Hendrix. His manager was Mike Jeffrey, who was British intelligence. That's like next to being a CIA or Mossad agent, right? British intelligence. He allegedly died in a plane crash, but they never recovered his body. But he was the executive of the Jimi Hendrix estate. But he allegedly died in a plane crash, allegedly. But they never recovered his body. It's like Jeffrey Epstein. We don't know what was up with him. While with Kobe, you don't know what type of dealing Kobe had. You don't know the type of enemies he made. What type of movies he was making. I think he was one of the people that said that women could play in the NBA. That the best of the WNBA can compete with the NBA. I don't know. I don't think so. But they said it. When you're trying to make his own league, I don't know. Now I know people pushing on social media that they should remake the logo in Kobe's likeness. Why not? I think that's a great idea. I thought it should have been Jordan, or it could have been Dr. J or Wood Chamberlain. Jerry West, I don't think we'll have a problem because Jerry West was like a surrogate father to Kobe. Remember, he was the one that drafted Kobe in range, made a deal with the Charlotte Hornets when they picked him. When they picked him, excuse me, as the 13th pick in the 1996 draft, he made a deal with the Charlotte Hornets to bring Kobe to Los Angeles, and the rest is history. Game-changing, transcendent player, whatever you want to call it. All-time great, and really the greatest Laker. He is the greatest Laker. Magic Johnson believes that. I believe Kareem believes that. He's the all-time scoring leader for the Lakers. He won 5 championships. He competed at the highest level, won an MVP, 2 scoring titles. He is the greatest Laker. I mean, you got a lot of greats: Wilt, Kareem, Magic, James Worthy, of course, Shaq O'Neal, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, who's the logo now. But yeah, he earned that spot to me. And yeah, I'll make sure I think I said with the Chamberlain Heights, the Legends of Chamberlain Heights, that episode that showed Kobe crash and burning in a helicopter. The episode called End of Days aired November 16th, 2016. I want to make sure I said that date right. November 16th, 2016. That's when it first aired. And try to find the clip online. It's available now. But they're scrubbing the internet like crazy. The censorship is unreal. Fascism level censorship, but predictive programming. Predictive programming is very much real. Like I told you, I gave y'all examples in this segment. Check that out. So also, I actually had the blessings of seeing Kobe Bryant in Memphis, Tennessee, play at the FedEx Forum. I want to say it was December 2008, right after the historic election of Barack Obama. And we had Paul Gasol got traded from the Grizzlies to the Los Angeles Lakers. They went on to win, I guess, 2 championships in that run with Paul Gasol and Lamar Odom and Kobe Bryant. It was a pretty good team. Kobe proved his point. I mean, this is before the era that everybody wanted to create these super teams that, when LeBron James say he's going to take his talents to South Beach, with D Wade and Chris Bosh. Then you had all this other stuff, people forming these super groups. And there you go. It's a whole new world, a whole brave new old world. Not old world, but a whole new world, brave new world, indeed. But yeah, I was nosebleeds. I had my cousin. He was a volunteer with United Way youth program at the time. I came up through the United Way youth program. So did my middle sister. But it was tradition in our family to be a part of the United Way youth program. And one of the benefits of being in that program during the time my sister and my brother were, they could volunteer at the Memphis Grizzlies home games, doing volunteer work and also enjoy the game. So I had a chance to take them. I took myself a nosebleed. I had my little camera, a little personal camera before I had a phone. I don't know, maybe I took up my phone camera, but took little video snippets of Kobe running up and down the court doing this thing. So it was great to be able to breathe the same air as Kobe, to be in the same space as Kobe. I know I was in nosebleeds. It was cool. He was one of my favorite players of all time, most definitely. But yeah, check out these devils on these platforms. How they try to demoralize and dehumanize and emasculate our black men, even in death. That's the trend. I want y'all to recognize that. And the okey doke they're doing on Kobe, like what Eddie Griffin said, no black man, no black celebrity dies without an asterisk next to their name, whether you be Kobe Bryant, Bill Cosby, or R. Kelly, or Sam Cooke. I just told y'all that. And that's why it's important to support platforms like mine and others out there that's doing this work. Uh, 2020 is, man, it's been a crazy year already, a wild ride. God willing, I want to be here at the end of 2020, going to 2021, but nobody's promised tomorrow. I don't care if you're gifted, you're famous, you're beautiful, you're talented. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But I also know that it's a game, and the games they play, learn these games, these rules, learn them well. Like I said, there's so much out here to this thing. And just stop accepting the official story as being the one and only truth, because really the official story is the official lie. You see how many times they revised the number of people died in that plane crash, went from 4 to 5 to 9. They said people was on the plane. The helicopter. Excuse me, I keep on calling it, but it's an air vehicle, right? Plane, helicopter. But I know y'all get on me because I'm not white people media, so I don't get a pass from people. Oh, you run, brother, run. You got dates. That's why I said with the Legends of Chamberlain Heights. I said it was the right. I said the right TV show, and I said that it was a clip showing that if I got the date wrong, and y'all, oh, brother Ron, it was not November. You said November 11th or something. It was November 16th. People live to correct a black man, even my family members, man. But I see what Dick say now. I would try to talk to my mama or somebody like that. You know the things I know. To talk to people, even my family members, they'll think I'm crazy or crazier than a little bit. Everybody a little bit crazy as far as I'm concerned. But I always tell people, deal with the crazy that you could deal with and leave the rest alone. Deal with the crazy that you can deal with and leave the rest alone. So with that said, I hope I drop some things, some flavor in your ear, some knowledge that you can hear and that you can apply. But yeah. Man, I'm still processing this, the loss of Kobe, but life goes on. Just learn from the Mamba, the Black Mamba. Live your life to the fullest. Make your dreams real. Live the life you want to live, man. Kobe lived the life he wanted to live. You know what I'm saying? He made a lot of people happy by choosing to make his dreams real, by being himself, by paying the cost to be the boss. He made so many people happy. he inspires so many people, not just in the world of basketball. You hear all these personal stories coming out. It's sad that we allow the media to frame Kobe, whatever narrative they want to go with, like he's bad with his teammates. Yeah, his teammates speak highly of him. Former teammates, even when he didn't get along with in public, the famous ones, the famous feuds he had with Shaq, they won championships. You should learn in life. Like I go to work, it's people that ain't gonna like me. It's some people that I supervise that don't care for me. But it's not about me because they don't know me. Like I don't know them. Just respect the work. We got a job to do. We got an objective. The objective is to get the building clean, to sanitize the building, to make sure everything is done. It's not about you being my friend. Just respect me as a co-worker, as a collaborator. Let's get this stuff done. Respect the position. And with Kobe, he was about serious about the work. You know, when you trying to win or trying to attain the things you want in life, friendships are not important. Yes, relationships are important, but friendships, like somebody gotta like you. Now, as long as they respect me or they respect my position and what I'm trying to do, that's all my only concern. You know what I'm saying? As long as I have somebody that love me, I don't have to have that many people that like me. As long as I have somebody that loves me, I do not have to have that many people like me. And really, if you the only person that loves you, that's good. 'Cause you got me and myself and I. You're never lonely if you know how to keep yourself company. You are never lonely if you know how to keep yourself company. Kobe knew how to keep himself company, achieving his things. Nobody outworked Kobe. See, there's a lot of us that have talents and abilities, but a lot of us don't have the discipline on the work ethic to really cultivate those talents and abilities to help take our life or whatever we want to do to the next level. Kobe was never outworked by anybody on the court or in the game of life, and that should be commended. And I'm not going to allow these people to poison my mind, my memories of the Kobe Bean Bryant that brought so many joy, that brought so much joy to the world through his love of basketball, and how that love of basketball provided a platform for him to help his people in his own way. Now, I didn't agree with him politically on a lot of things. I didn't agree with his stances on things like, when it concerns Black lives in the balance, not just Black Lives Matter, but Black lives in the balance. But it's like OJ, to me, if you true to yourself, it's not about somebody liking you. Just respect me and my space. And Kobe is fine. I mean, Kobe didn't get in my way. Um, I think he did a lot more good than harm. I mean, everybody's complex. Nobody got to agree with all your points. It's like people didn't agree with me talking about some of the things I talked about in this presentation. But the thing about it is we can agree to disagree and still be agreeable. You can respect my point of view. You can respect me as a person and not, internalize the things I'm saying. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Now, I had people attack me on media, social media, about my point of view as it relates to not only this but other things, and I never took it personal because, quite frankly, I never heard of this person before until I said something they didn't like. Because my social media accounts are very much public. I don't do the privatizing thing. I just don't share with my circle. I just put it out there for the public because I really have nothing to lose as far as I'm concerned. It's my opinion. I never really had the best paying gigs in this system with all the benefits. I never had that. I'm almost 40 years old. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm taking care of myself. I'm pacing myself. I'm learning how to be a better friend and advocate for myself. So I can be a better advocate and friend for anybody who's willing to receive this message I'm getting out there and willing to do the homework and do their own stuff. But yeah, and if you are listening, if you have benefited, if you have contributed, if you did anything to help with this message this platform, this movement that I'm doing, you are totally very much appreciated by me, and we most definitely love you madly. I hope I gave y'all enough food for thought. I just wanted to share my thoughts and get a narrative out there, and I'm very much interested in hearing what you all have to say. If you have anything to offer in terms of how you feel about the Kobe Bryant situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oprah or somebody come out with a documentary in this Me Too era. He remember like when he won the Oscar, they wanted him, like the Me Too folks wanted him removed from the Academy, I guess membership, whatever, or they wanted his Oscar to be denounced by the Academy. And Kobe stood his ground. But I'm saying, why the black man, the boogeyman for Me Too? I mean, when We don't control the system. We don't own too much of anything, let alone our bodies. So how are we a threat to white women or to anybody? So I just think it's interesting with Kobe. It's like I tell somebody, y'all got a lot of people got a problem with R. Kelly. A lot of women got a problem with R. Kelly or Bill Cosby, but you love Sam Cooke, but look at how he died. Under very questionable circumstances, but the coroner inquest ruled it a justifiable homicide. So that's the thing. If he dies today, he's known as a so-called rapist or a kidnapper who never really had his day in court because he wasn't there to defend himself either way. And I'm definitely going to touch upon the Aaron Hernandez documentary or propaganda hit piece from Netflix in another segment, but I didn't want to put that food for thought. Kobe, we gotta use these platforms to counter the narrative. So when the history, when history looks back upon this moment, you have some dissenting voices on how they portray Kobe in the so-called corporate legacy media. I know Washington Post released a video less than 2 minutes to do a hit piece on Kobe to talk about the situation that happened in Colorado that's been resolved. To me, Kobe has been exonerated in that situation because the person settled for a civil settlement and she was known to get around. Not saying it's justified for her to get mistreated, but I think she saw it as a come up. It's like you don't even hear no more about Desiree Washington. Mike Tyson went to jail under questionable circumstances. Maybe it saved his life from getting killed by the mob. Who knows? Because of the way he was fighting. Everybody was getting knocked out within seconds. Maybe they was messing up the bedding, arrangements. Who knows? But you never hear too much Mike Tyson. It's weird. The thing about it is, what you gonna do with somebody in a hotel room 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? If you come to my hotel room 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you attract a female or whatever, you just a female. You not necessarily be the best looking female. But what we gonna do? What do you think we're gonna be doing 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? We do gonna be like doing Bible study or reading Shakespeare and what we think we're gonna be doing? That's just common sense, but at the same time, you should respect people, spaces and whatnot, but don't put yourself in situations that you'll regret later on. Don't put yourself in situations that you'll live to regret. And I think with the Me Too, a lot of these people, especially when it comes to the Hollywood people, uh, they went along with the program. They've been going like that for generations since the founding fathers of Hollywood. The sex to play, the casting couch and all that stuff. So yeah, man, I'm still trying to process it, y'all. If you're a Laker fan, basketball fan, this fan is just goodness. This really hits home, and I'm not really paying attention to the trolls or the racists, whatever, or even the people that misunderstand me. I don't really care. I'm not here. Like Dick said so many years ago, he says that he said on consistent basis. I don't need your truth. I don't need my truth to be validated by your ignorance. Just do some research. I'm not here to be a leader. I'm just a thought provocateur. I'm a person who likes to think. I know how I think ain't for everybody, but it's for me because somebody loves you, baby. I love myself, me, myself, and I. So with that said, I think I said enough. I think I covered and touched upon the things I need to touch upon. Thank you all for being very patient with me as I work this out through my mind to put this stuff out there, to put something on your mind so you won't get behind in these times. So I just made that up, y'all. So if you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Subscribe to We All Be TV on YouTube. Share this video with your loved ones and with the uninitiated, as well as the woke and the sleep. See what they say. I'm just very interested to see what y'all got to say. Support the We All Be cause because knowledge is the currency of the universe and knowledge ain't free. We all pay a cost to be informed and to disseminate like a boss. So hit us up on Cash App, $ R2C2H2. That's $R2C2H2 on Cash App, PayPal, Google Pay. Use our email R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Once again, it's R2C2H2 at gmail.com. To buy artivist gear, artwork. You can wear my artwork. You go to the website R2C2H2.com. Look out the buy artivist art. You go to our Teespring website, R2C2H2 Place. Look at the shelf below the video description. You pick out your shirts, and we have some more stuff available. But thank you all for encouraging me to make these videos, to keep on making a difference. I meet you all, and people are listening. I don't trust the algorithms on YouTube or any other social media, but what I do trust is when I see people in the flesh and they can actually recall the video I drop and how it influenced them in their thought processes. I want to thank everybody who's been reaching out to me, wanting to help with the We All Be movement, to be researchers. I'm gonna work on that. We're gonna get this done. I just like, man, this has been a very busy year for me. A lot of things been going on. Every day been an exciting, intriguing adventure. My life is a movie. I'm working hard, but I want to work hard for the people as well. I have not forgotten about you all. Thank y'all for being so patient and waiting for responses from me. I really appreciate that because there's a lot going on, man. I'm just trying not to be too overwhelmed by it all. But I might do a follow-up video concerning the situation with Kobe Bryant as more information becomes available. Cause like I mean, they keep on changing the story, but I think I put some stuff out here in my take that y'all can use, y'all can research, and follow up on. Thank you so much once again. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that Django review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.